Hi, my name is Zalman Ainsworth. Thanks for watching another episode of APTV. Today I have Carly Whitelaw. Carly has had a very successful 20-year career in retail here in Australia, working for some of the biggest companies in retail, and has made the decision 8 months ago to go out on her own and start her own business, taking everything she's learned from her career and providing that as a service to business owners as a virtual general manager, particularly for properties. So we're going to really get into what made you come to that decision and how you did it without any backing and without any customers. You've had a really great career in retail for many, many years, well regarded and always promoted. You worked at Kohl's, Dust Group, Telstra, and then most recently GM at Monroe Group. But last year you decided that wasn't good enough and you went out on your own. How did that come about?
That wasn't my thought, but I maybe decided it wasn't for me anymore. And I made the decision to go out on my own. So it was a big decision. I obviously had a little bit of imposter syndrome for a bit there. And
what syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
Okay. Yep.
But I threw myself into it. I had some people that were very supportive of me and probably believed in me more than I did at the time, including you. You were a massive support, thank you. And yeah, I threw myself into it, got a client, got a few more.
Just one?
Well, one at a point.
When you knew you were going out, you had one client to go out with?
No, I went out without any clients.
Oh, wow.
And then within a short period of time, just going about my business, I picked up a client and I was away.
Yep, and then just like that.
Yeah.
What was your biggest motivation to do it?
I genuinely love helping people and love helping retailers, and I think my time at Monroe probably showed that I could help transform a business from a property perspective and encourage growth and influence change. And I thought I could probably help smaller retailers in the same way, and that's what I'm doing now.
And moving away from a secure job, was that not a scary decision?
It was very scary.
What was your biggest fear?
Well, I mean, you become addicted to the salary drug, and I was really worried about how that would go. And I guess, once you secure a client and you secure more clients, then it's not an issue anymore.
Did you have a backup plan in case it didn't work out?
Well, I suppose I would have gone and got a job with someone else.
So just going back to where you started.
I just had to back myself, and like I said, I had people supporting me and telling me, just keep doing it, you can do this, and I kept going.
So how long has it been so far?
8 months.
Wow. And you're up and running?
Very much up and running.
Would you have done anything differently looking back in the last 8 months?
No, I honestly haven't really had time to think about that, but it's been such an amazing 8 months.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I mean, you've said this to me. I feel like I look different. I feel so much happier. I feel like this is a very organic and.
I meant that in a good way.
I know.
Better, not worse.
No, I know, but I've never been so busy in terms of the hours I'm putting in, and the workload is enormous in comparison to what I've been used to. But it's a real buzz, and it's very encouraging. The people that I'm working with, the founders of all of these businesses, they've truly created something, whether it's a product or a business, etc. So I'm just surrounded by these amazing entrepreneurs all day, and I'm learning so much from them. So it's just been awesome.
And you're still in uni.
Yes. Yes.
Are you ever going to get out of uni?
I hope so.
You like that college kid that just never wants to go home?
No. Well, I started very late. I've got a couple of units to go, so I should graduate later this year.
And then what do you get with that?
An MBA.
So that's allow you to start your own business?
Yes. Yeah,
I think it's
I
time
might start
to
my own
just-
business when I finish the MBA.
Well done. Growing up in corporate Australia, you're fed or you're trained to believe that starting your own business is virtually impossible, right? So how did you overcome those fears that were ingrained in your upbringing, in your corporate upbringing?
Yeah, well, also in my home life, I grew up in a family. We had a family business which failed terribly. Sold the family home.
How old were you when that happened?
I was a teenager.
Jeez.
And so, changed schools, and it was massive. So that's really why I'd never done it before, because it was very, very scary place for me, and I take on a lot of responsibility in that regard for providing to my immediate family and my extended family. So that was really the ultimate fear as to why I never did it.
Geez, that's interesting. So now you broke that chain in the generational gaps, and now your guys are business owners again.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's interesting. So what's your business called?
Carly Whitelaw Consulting.
That's an ordinary name. You couldn't think of anything more original?
No. I took a lot of thought.
You couldn't do anything. What?
What's your business name?
We Love Retail.
Oh, that's original.
It is. Well, it was trademarked, so.
Trademarked?
Yeah, we did trademark it.
Wow.
So you can't use it anymore.
Okay.
You got to stop. What does Carly Whitelaw Consulting actually do?
So, the easiest way to describe it is we're virtual general managers of the entire property function, from network planning through to leasing, through to legal, design, store development, and property management of your portfolio ongoing. So some of my clients are the size where I'm the only property person in the business, and some of my other clients just they're big enough that they hire me for overflow work for parts of the process. And then I have, I guess, my trusted ecosystem that I outsource those functions to, and ultimately I'm the trusted advisor to the retailer, and I manage all of those trusted advisors that I use in their respective spaces, whether it's design, shop fitting, legal, etc.
So anything to do with the shop you manage?
Yeah.
From finding the shop, negotiating terms, building the shop, permits, plans, and up and running?
Yes.
And once it's trading?
If they want me to be a property manager, then I would go on to manage it. If there's any disruptions or any release renewals or whatever it may be, any need to talk to the landlord, that's on me.
Wow. And you have, how many clients do you have now?
I haven't counted them.
No. And most of your clients are in what category?
They're all in different categories. I don't really have any competing clients. So there's a mix of toys, fashion, footwear, Pilates, multiple.
Okay, so you're a wife, a mom of 2 boys, Donnie and Hamish.
Hamish.
It's a nice name. And now a business owner. How do you keep that all together? And you're a uni student.
Yes. Keep bringing that up. Stop reminding me. I'm trying to forget.
How do you manage all that? That's a lot to take on for one day.
Yes, it is, but I think you can never compare 2 people. I have a lot of support. My dad lives with us. We have an au pair that lives with us. My husband, it's a real team effort. We've got grandparents just down the road. It takes a village, and I've set up our life so I'm either working, studying, or I'm with my kids. So if we're
It's quite rigid, the schedule?
Yeah, it's pretty rigid, and if we're socialising, generally speaking, my kids are there. I'm not really going out and having big nights. It's pretty much work. Uni.
How old are your boys, Donnie and Hamish?
4 and 5.
Wow. Talking about big nights, I read in I think the Women's Weekly, you had a big 40-year-old bash for your next big party bash. How would any viewers score an invite?
It was Vogue, by the way.
Vogue.
It wasn't Women's Weekly. Okay. How would I describe my 40?
No, how would anyone watching this, or even sitting right here, score an invite to the next party?
You were invited.
Oh, no, I was not invited. All right. The media talks about the demise of retail in Australia. What's your opinion on that?
I think if you've got good product and you know who your customer is and you've got the energy to keep going, then you can win.
And if you don't, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah. I think it's that simple, but it is very, very hard in retail at the moment. The costs are just going through the roof, and I think that's what the real disconnect is with the retailer and the landlord at the moment, is they just don't, they maybe don't understand how hard it is for each other at the moment. They don't really get it.
What costs are going through the roof exactly?
Everything, every single line item in a P&L is going up.
But are sales increasing with those increased costs?
Not necessarily.
And margins are just being pressed?
Yeah.
And the only variable is that they can negotiate with. They can't negotiate their tax, can't negotiate the labor costs, they can negotiate?
Oh, well, they can. There are elements that they can negotiate, but obviously the rent is one potential controllable.
Is that the biggest priority now, just managing costs for retailers?
No, definitely not.
What is the biggest priority for retailers in 2024?
Raising prices too, getting your product right. There's lots of areas of focus for retailers, but obviously where a property person can contribute is controlling costs.
And you see your clients having more stores or less stores, bigger stores?
It depends on the client. Every single one is
different.
different, but obviously I'm a growth partner, so
Hoping for more.
most of my clients are growing or consolidating now to grow in the coming 12 months.
How are you positioning your clients over the next 24 months?
There's just a really big focus on, I guess, cleaning up the backyard and getting ready to go again. Some are growing rapidly now, but we just need to make sure that all the systems, the governance, the processes, the approval processes, feasibilities, etc., that we're introducing are well understood. You know, the right decisions are being made. There's no mistakes, etc. That's really big focus, is getting them clean and ready to launch.
You have great experiences in shopping centers. When you walk into a center, how do you assess it? And what makes a good center versus not a great center?
Again, it depends on who I'm looking for. I'm looking for who's there. I'm looking for the traffic. And when I say who's there, which retailers are there, what's the customer like? Are people holding bags? I'm going into stores depending on the client. I'm looking at what competitors are selling. I'm looking at what their product is like. Going into department stores and looking at their ranges and how, you know, for example, how big's their footwear category. Really honing in on things like that. But it ultimately depends on the client.
Do you often do mystery shopping for your clients?
No, I don't do any mystery shopping.
Because if you did, this would end that.
I personally don't like mystery shopping.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I think there's other ways to get the best out of people than shocking them with an undercover CEO.
Biggest challenge in the current retail market?
That's
the one single biggest challenge.
Biggest challenge. Well, the customers feeling like they're not going to have as much money in the next few months because their rates might go up again.
Is this all about interest rates? That's the biggest challenge.
Well, it's a big challenge. I mean, that has a huge impact on consumer sentiment and people's willingness to spend.
For agents and landlords watching this, you would receive heaps of calls from agents, myself included, with opportunities. What's the best way to present it to engage interest and to grab your attention?
Yeah, I think about this every day. In fact, I'm reminded of the opportunity every day. So I get a call, 20 calls a day from a real estate agent or a landlord talking to me about an opportunity. And they make the assumption that because I'm a national retailer or I represent a national retailer, I know exactly where they're talking about. I know exactly what shop it is. And, you know, I've had that much experience. I should know exactly what they're talking about. And I know the area and I know the demographic. So my advice to the agents, and I often try to give them this advice, is explain this to me as if I've never been there before, and tell me where my nearest stores are, tell me why I should be there, tell me who the customer is. You're really trying to sell it. So there aren't many great real estate agents out there. They're few and far between. If you are almost acting like you are the retailer, think like you are the retailer. Why would I put a shop here? Tell me why I should put a shop here. And if you don't know why they should put a shop there, go and spend some time with retailers and get educated on how they make their decisions. And you will waste a lot less time because you'll know who to target, because you'll know which retailers will work here.
So understanding what's productive there and targeting those usages and then breaking down why that use would work there. So your competitors, the sales, the data, the stats, all that stuff which is readily available on council websites.
Yeah, or by talking to retailers.
Do you believe what you're told though? Or do you have to verify it?
It depends on the relationship I have. So if you've built a relationship with that person, then I have no reason not to trust them. But I do generally do second checks on the data to make sure there's no discrepancies. And if the first bit of information I look up is incorrect, then I'm not going to trust anything you've given me, and I have to go through the whole process. But when you're looking at so many things, you're probably just going to go, that's too hard, and I'm going to move on to something else.
Right. In one sentence, how would you describe the future of retail?
How would I describe the future of retail?
Just what's the first thing that comes to mind?
It's exciting. Like for me, it's super exciting. And we live and breathe it.
Well, maybe think about it. You're trying to sound like a real estate agent.
It is, believe it or not.
Is online as much of a threat or a tool in retail that it was 5 years ago?
I think, well, hopefully landlords have realised that it's not a threat in a sense that it's going to take away from the physical element. You need both. The customers expect both, and they expect that whole omni-channel experience to be seamless. So when we talk about costs, it's that online element as well as the physical store element. There's a lot of investment going in across the two. So that online element, that's a huge cost that we didn't used to have. So it's something that you really need to take into consideration for the retailers.
And just because they're selling it online doesn't mean it's a free sale. There's a lot of costs of goods there as well. Just like instead of rent, there's other usages.
Most businesses aren't making a lot of money through their online businesses. It's just they need to do it because the customers demand it.
So there's more profit in stores than there is in online sales?
Definitely. And
even with the labor costs and rents and fit outs and all that?
Yeah. But there's a lot of research that's been done on the whole omni-channel experience, and it's something like you're 70% more likely to succeed as a retailer if you have both.
Absolutely. So it's impossible not to have both. When you're given an opportunity or a task, like how do you start your research? Like what's your first point of call when researching a market, for example?
Oh, as in looking for a location?
Yeah, like.
Oh, well, it depends. I mean, it might be census data, it might be CommBank IQ. A lot of the major landlords have got some really good insights teams now, and they share a lot of their information, which is often conflicting with what the leasing person is telling you, so that's interesting.
How accurate is this research once you see it through?
Well, the landlord's information is generally backed by credit card data, so there's no lying in that. The banks take that information sharing very, very seriously.
And you access that through CBA IQ?
CommBank IQ.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one way you can access, and that's there's a product now that CommBank IQ have made available to retailers. It used to be very, very costly and it was very landlord focused, the data, but they do have a retailer product now which can help you with profiling your customer.
That's a great way to navigate through all your choices.
Yeah, so if they're not shopping with you, where are they shopping and those types of things.
Cool.